It took MrBeast 2 years and 300 videos just to reach 1,000 subs. PewDiePie, over 100 uploads to reach 2.5k subs. Ryan Trahan, over a year to reach 2,000 subscribers. These guys are now some of the top creators in the world. But imagine if MrBeast had quit after a year. Or PewDiePie quit after 50 videos. Imagine how many worldwide sensations never came to be just because they gave up too early. I know this isn't exactly a revolutionary train of thought, but I share this because I want to talk today about not quitting. Because often it's a lot easier said than done. If YouTube success is truly something you really want, how do you survive this valley of despair almost all successful channels seem to go through? Obviously, I can't speak for everyone, but for me personally, I find the Stockdale paradox really insightful. On September 9th, 1965, during the height of the Vietnam War, Admiral Jim Stockdale was shot down over Vietnam. He parachuted directly into enemy hands where he was severely beaten, but unfortunately for him, that was just the beginning of his nightmare. Stockdale was taken to the infamous Hanoi Hilton, where he spent much of his time locked in a filthy, windowless, 3x9 foot concrete cell. He barely had enough room to lie down. Stockdale spent 7.5 years here, and during that time, he was interrogated and tortured over 20 times. But amidst all of this, somehow Stockdale refused to break. Not only did he survive, but he continually chose to defy his captors. For example, one time they wanted to publicly parade him around for propaganda, but he ruined their plans by slashing open his scalp and beating his face with a wooden stool so that he was disfigured and puffy and couldn't be shown on camera. Okay, that's a wild story, but what does this have to do with YouTube? Well, years after Stockdale's ordeal, in an interesting interview, he was asked this question. Under such horrific conditions, who are the prisoners that don't make it out alive? Oh, that's easy, he replied. It's the optimists. They were the ones who said, we're going to be home by Christmas. And Christmas would come, and Christmas would go. And then they'd say, we're going to be home by Easter. Easter would come, Easter would go, and Thanksgiving would come, and then Christmas would come again, and they basically just died of a broken heart. And I'm paraphrasing a little here, but then Stockdale said, you must never lose faith that you will prevail in the end, but at the same time, you must have the discipline to confront the brutal facts of your reality, whatever they may be. This is the Stockdale paradox. To survive a tough situation, fully embrace the harsh realities so you don't die of a broken heart. For me as a creator, that looked like taking my head out of the sand and acknowledging that YouTube was going to be one of the hardest things I ever tried to do. It was going to take a long time, it was going to take a lot of hours, and it was going to be embarrassing because I was going to fail a lot and fail publicly. I also needed to acknowledge that statistically, the vast majority of YouTubers quit, which probably means at some point on my YouTube journey, I'm going to feel like quitting too. But at the same time, almost paradoxically, I need to believe that I can and will succeed on YouTube in the end, despite all of these challenges and setbacks. And I need to have the discipline to force myself to continue taking steps in that direction. Even today, I still have frustrations and setbacks. You'll post videos you think are great. For example, one of the most successful videos on my channel, look at the beginning of this one. Look at the growth here. It's basically flat for 2 months. And then only after that does it explode to over 1 million views. Or take a look at this video. In the beginning, first 30 days, it got 100 views. The first 100 days, it got 150 views. But fast forward to now, it's got 788k. Sometimes it takes the algorithm time to actually get data and figure out who your audience is so they can promote your video to the right people. And during that unsuccessful period, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. But despite the heartaches, the setbacks, the embarrassing times, I can look back and genuinely say that choosing to pursue YouTube was one of the best decisions of my life. So if you're anything like me, next time you're feeling a bit lost, it could be helpful to think about the Stockdale paradox. Don't set yourself up to quote unquote die of a broken heart by not coming to terms with the brutal realities you're going to be facing. But at the same time, maintain unwavering faith and commitment to prevailing in the end.